first 3 months, I will tell you, if you are able to work hard, there will be sleepless nights. I think the first 3 months, I can tell you, those were the most difficult months of my life till now also, I will tell. The first 3 months. But if you sail through that, then that gives you confidence ki up to at least you know you will be able to do a lot of things if you are able to do that.
For me personally, what worked out was, again, I was also without any work experience coming into MBA. A lot of these societies start operating on the campus and they start organizing, mock GDs or mock interviews. And there, if you put yourself out there, you might realize that maybe GD is one area where I'm not that good at. And then you will have a subsequent series of options available where you can again go there, put yourself in those positions and become confident and become better at it as the time progresses. I think that is what will give you the confidence that yes, you belong and you are going to do wonderful as you have been doing till now.
It's not just about if you're the smartest person in the room, right? It's not about if you're the one with the maximum ideas, with the maximum range of solutions that you're able to give, but it's also about who shows up consistently, right? I was on my internship after my internship had ended, right? So there were 1 month post my 2 month stint. I was still in conversation with my manager, with my guide as to how can we implement this, how can we make sure that it's actually getting utilized, whether it's not getting feedback is getting coming in or not, right? And how well you integrate with the system also matters. It's something that is being viewed, it's something that is being evaluated. You showing up, like I said, consistently across those 2 months is what matters, because it's very easy to lose hope. So this part of the session is going to be a little informal. It's going to be a little more on the conversational side of how do you go about your MBAs, is also how about your placement processes and what we learned at Asian Paints over across the years. Okay, so we'll do a quick introduction of ourselves and then maybe we can begin. So it's going to be between the three of us. We have a couple of questions which we have put up to each other for your sakes, but you can also at any point of time reach out to us and ask us questions, okay?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I think a big congratulations to all of you. I think you will be undertaking a significant part of your career journey in the next few months. My name is Prashant, and I have been with Asian Paints since 2017. I did my MBA from NITIE Mumbai, 2015 to 2017 batch. And at Asian Paints, in my last 9-10 years, I have handled profiles from manufacturing to distribution and inventory management, then to purchase, and now I am part of the central planning team, which is essentially the logistics function. That's a little bit about me. I think we will cover some more things later in the session. Thanks.
So hi everyone, good to see you all. I think this is a good platform first of all, and before we start, I think congratulations to everyone. You would be, heading into the good campuses, and I hope that, you grab a good opportunities post that. So just a brief intro about myself. So my name is Puskar Sharma, and I graduated from IIM Bangalore in 2019. So I've been with Asian Paints, recently completed 7 years. In fact, last, 2 weeks back. So with Asian Paints, I have been with the sales and marketing vertical. So I have worked in multiple categories. So basically I worked with a category which closed down. I have worked with a category which is doing extremely well. And I'm working with a category which is the upcoming category, in one of the new verticals. So basically seen all three segments, both from the sales and marketing side. We'll talk more about it, during our conversation.
So I'll also give a quick introduction. So my name is Aarushi. I joined the company back in 2023. I had interned with Asian Paints in 2022. I'm in the HR vertical, right? I started off in a department in HR called Talent Management and Organizational Development, which is a mouthful. But particularly we looked at certain organization-wide agendas when it came to engagement of their employee, when it came to the performance management of employees, when it came to training our talent pipeline, right? So things around on those areas. And in the last 1 year, I've also been I've been partnering with the sales function for their HR and talent needs. Right, so we have certain divisions across, of course, the country, and thereafter one of the divisions is I'm the HR manager for that. All right. So we'll just quickly begin, and I think. One of the most pressing questions, like I said, we'll move through your MBA journeys as well, right? So I think to Prashant and Puskar both, so a lot of people here would have been, on the top 1% of their institutions, colleges, performances in their respective organizations. But now when they enter into, MBA institutes, they're going to be surrounded by more and more people like them, right? People who have been on that perfectionist sort of trajectory. So to Puskar, I would ask you, like, how did you kind of, work through that imposter syndrome that you may have, or they may have even setting in, right? Or I may have set in. And to Prashant, I'd also ask, like, in terms of managing their time in MBA, which is going to be super hectic for the first couple of semesters when you get into it. How did you do that during your journeys as well? So if you can both share insights on your respective questions.
Probably I will answer this by sharing my story and maybe my philosophy behind it. And then I think each one of you will have a different story, just cautioning everyone that this is not the only answer to this question. But let me tell you this story, and then possibly it might help you guys. So, like I think some of you or maybe many of you, I graduated from IIT Delhi and then entered into MBA fresh with no experience. And coming from IIT Delhi, after that entering into IMB, you are high, right? That you are high on power, you are high on confidence कि ठीक है सब फोड़ दिया है इधर भी मचा देंगे. And that was the mentality which I entered. But I was very clear on one front कि I liked marketing. That's why I started preparing for CAT. And from IIT, I think the kind of opportunities on marketing were limited at that point. And again, there's a background to it. I took a course in marketing in IIT Delhi in my third year. And I think that was the pivoting moment for my life where I shifted my entire trajectory from core. I was in mechanical, so core mechanical or consulting, यही दो option होते हैं largely, to marketing. So I think that piqued my interest, and then I started preparing for CAT. But entering into MBA, I was not, in my first couple of months, I was not very rigid that I will only study marketing or I'll only prepare for those companies and maybe hang out with the buddies who are interested in marketing. So that was very clear that you have to be open at the starting because you will have a lot of opportunities in consulting, finance, Genman, and obviously sales and marketing, operations, all these functions. So I think, first of all, when you enter, have a fresh mind and give everything a try. At least you should go speak with relevant people, take courses. Anyways, first year you will be given courses which will have everything. So don't bunk classes of some courses which you don't like. At least take a taste. I think that is the first thing. The biggest thing will be, I think, I don't know if this is the right analogy or not. You should have that mentality कि अब हमने state champion को तो हरा दिया. This is again film from Dangal. अब national champion में अगर आपको compete करना है तो you will have to, do some things differently. So whatever has taken you to this place will not be enough to take you from where you want, where you want to be. That was one thing, I'm telling right now, post 7 years, it was not in my mind that time. But I think it will be very important that you be humble, learn from people around you, have a very good core group of friends. I think that is one thing which I will share from my experience that, I am into sports, so I play a couple of sports and in football, got lucky to, make some good friends, and that core group of friends become your support system through, the entire, I think they are good friends right now also. That is very important. Explore, have a very good group of core friends, be open. That is first thing, and again, be humble. The last thing I will say is that, it will be extremely hectic and grinding. The first 3 months, I will tell you, if you are able to work hard, there will be sleepless nights. I think the first 3 months, I can tell you, those were the most difficult months of my life till now also, I will tell. The first 3 months. But if you sail through that, then it will be, then you will know that, abhi to I have that confidence ki theek, I have, worked late in the night, 5 बजे तक काम किया, and then I have attended 9 a.m. lectures also. So that gives you confidence कि अब तो at least you know you will be able to do a lot of things if you are able to do that. ठीक है? So take it from that angle. I will say, don't take these first 3 months lightly. Give your maximum amount of effort during this period. You will definitely get the benefits. Whatever you have given till now, give 2x. I think that effort will be worthwhile, which I realize now. The first 3-4 months will be very, very critical. Don't lapse on that.
Just to add, you have reached here because you have a certain potential, right? So believing in yourself is also going to be critical. Yes, you are going to be surrounded by a lot of smart people, lot of intelligent people, but you are here for a reason, right? And these first 3 months, they are going to... For me personally, what worked out was, again, I was also without any work experience coming into MBA. A lot of these societies start operating on the campus and they start organizing, mock GDs or mock interviews. And there, if you put yourself out there, you might realize that maybe GD is one area where I'm not that good at. And then you will have a subsequent series of options available where you can again go there, put yourself in those positions and become confident and become better at it as the time progresses. I think that is what will give you the confidence that yes, you belong and you are going to do wonderful as you have been doing till now. Go there, put yourself in those positions and become confident and become better at it as the time progresses. I think that is what will give you the confidence that yes, you belong and you are going to do wonderful as you have been doing till now. So that's one part. I think identifying what is something which will give you that confidence to put your best foot forward is something which I will request you all to find out when you join the campuses. There is no one shoe fits all. It's individual to individual. Second is, I think, again, the social part in MBA is what you should not miss out on. I think these will be the people you will learn so much from without putting in an explicit effort of doing that. And these are some things which over a period of time will accumulate and you will feel that yes, some areas which maybe I was not that good at, just by being in those situations, just by being with these people, I have been able to build on those and really change myself also as an individual or improve my skills as an individual. So these are my 2 things, that just be patient, believe in yourself, put yourself in these situations, whatever is happening in the campus, and you will realize which are some of the things where you want to prioritize your time in. And second, don't miss out on the social aspect when you go to your masters. Yeah. Just from picking up from that only, I think my next question will be to Puskar. So you have been a part of summer internship imprints program at Asian Paints, and then you literally made the leap to the leap program as well and got a PPO. I think what will be some of the things which you felt really put yourself and your project to a position where you were awarded as a PPO versus some of the others which might not have, specifically in your context of your internship at Asian Paints?
I am also an Asian Paints through and through. I have interned at Asian Paints in 2018, and see, again, that was the first time when I entered into the corporate world as such. Okay, and let me be very frank. It's pressurizing that you go with that expectation कि एक ही चीज़ होती है, PPO निकालना है, ठीक है? You don't care about the project, company, nothing. PPO निकालना है, life simple करनी है कि placement में at least you will have that option कि whether to go with the PPO or or go for the other company. So I was nervous, and it was the first company. For people who have worked, at least I think it will be slightly easier that you have been exposed to corporate as a culture. So that was daunting. So it will hit you guys. I think nothing will ease you whatever anyone says कि क्या करना है, कैसे होगा, but you have to sail through that. That is also a shaping experience. Okay, that is first. So I got a project in marketing only, where there was a wood finish product which was launched 10 years back, and it was it declined, it didn't pick up, but the project was how to revive that particular category, and it was focused on one market only, which is Delhi. So it was, the project was laid out. It will be very important, I have to say, if someone wants to grab a PPO, the very first thing is get your problem statement and expectations very, very clear. See, that everyone will tell you, but I am again telling that it is of the most importance. I'll say it is the most important thing for any intern to understand what is the problem statement and get your expectations right. What the organization or the manager is expecting as an outcome from the project. And the process also, I think it will be mostly on the outcome. What is the outcome which he expects should be very, very clear. Because many times it happens that, you start working, you have maybe hesitated in asking questions or understanding, and you end up doing some things which will mismatch the expectations. So before entering, spend more time in understanding the problem. Go deep in understanding the problem and setting the expectations right. Right now also, a lot of trainees work with me. So I insist only, you spend couple of days in understanding the problem and set your, at least our expectations right. Okay, this is what we need to do. So that helps. That is the first and the most important thing which you will have to do as an intern. Second, see, it will be very important, the amount of comprehensiveness and legwork which you do. By comprehensiveness, I mean the breadth. So you will obviously, with the problem statement, you will be associated with, there are different types of stakeholders where you will have to deal with. In my project, I had to deal with dealers, contractors, architects, team, like everyone. So the kind of comprehensiveness you bring into your project and the kind of legwork also. By legwork, I mean, the quantum of effort you have put in identifying the right insights, information, that is very important. And thirdly, the ability to craft something actionable. It is not, see, the projects which you will get in Asian Paints are not theoretical at all. Everything is a real business problem which the portfolio manager is trying to solve. So if you are able to bring up actionable action items, basically, out of the project, that is the most important thing, again, to get you, in a better shape to grab a PPO. So I think summarizing 3 things. One is get your expectations clear. Second, do a lot of legwork and cover all kinds of stakeholders associated to your project. Don't leave out anything, comprehensiveness, which is. And third is how sharply are you able to generate insights, and given it need not be 10 action areas, but if you are able to give 2 sharp action areas also, that will be more appreciated. Okay, because these are all real life projects, and in my project also, it was dedicated to one market only, but I was able to cover a lot of stakeholders and bring up not a very, I will say, mind-blowing insight, but they were very simple 2-3 insights, and out of that there were some actions which were proposed. So I think that clarity of thought, getting the expectations right, and giving the final solution is something which you will have to, get it right. And in the end, obviously, some part of it is luck also. So not discounting that, but that's how it goes. Yeah.
Thanks, Pushkar. I think it paints that picture very well in a very concise manner. Aarushi, what do you think in terms of from an HR perspective? How do you look at candidates and then decide that, yes, this project and this candidate is going towards a PPO or not?
So, so I'll lead from 2 perspectives. One is obviously in general, what is the expectation out of any intern when you come into an organization, right? We'd want you to be enthusiastic, we'd want you to be very agile in your learning, you're curious and very eager, right? That is the general expectation, or the baseline fundamental that every organization would expect. Couple of things, at least for Asian Paints, right? So we've all been through the project phase, we've all seen it. Sometimes your projects work out, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you get the time with your stakeholders, you don't, right? It's a large organization, you're going to be one cog in the whole machine, right? But it's about how relevant do you think you're able to kind of make your contribution to that specific project, right? How much you, for example, even in the previous panel, we were discussing about the accountability and the responsibility that you're given, right? Even, Pushkar was also talking about the fact that the contribution, the recommendations that you're bringing is to a very real life project, right? Literally in the beginning, whenever we are assigning your projects, we're thinking about, okay, isme kya problem, isme kya problem, isme kya problem hai, acha ye isko, right? So it's not something that's been made up so that there's an intern there and they can perform on it. That's one thing. The other thing is also, and like most companies and similarly in Asian Paints, you'll also realize it's not just about if you're the smartest person in the room, right? It's not about if you're the one with the maximum ideas, with the maximum range of solutions that you're able to give, but it's also about who shows up consistently, right? There is a value-based framework that we also have, right? We have about 6 values which range from your creative zeal to your audacity, integrity, whether or not you're standing for others, right? So again, on these values itself, people who show up consistently, people who show up across not just only the 2 months, right? For example, for me personally, I was on my internship after my internship had ended, right? So there were 1 month post my 2 month stint. I was still in conversation with my manager, with my guide as to how can we implement this, how can we make sure that it's actually getting, utilized, whether it's not getting feedback is coming in or not, right? Because over these 2 months, you realize that you also build your relationships with your stakeholders, right? And how well you integrate with the system also matters. It's something that is being viewed, it's something that is being evaluated. You showing up, like I said, consistently across those 2 months is what matters, because it's very easy to lose hope. Okay, sometimes you might not get the direction. I don't know how many of you are freshers, right? I was also a fresher, and it's very easy to be like, okay, मेरे को कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है, छोड़ो, क्या देखा जाएगा आगे, right? Or they'll give me some leeway for not having a corporate experience before, but it's not about that. It's about, like I said, again, how are you able to utilize or leverage your strengths? How are you able to build those relationships and integrate with the system that we have given to you, right? So I think those can help you differentiate yourself from maybe your cohorts, because again, there's going to be a lot of you who will be joining with those specific organizations. Everyone will be gunning for a PPO, and you need to have that mindset of what can I do different, right? Obviously, along with what does the organization want from me and what do I want from the organization, right? So I think that would be at least my experience of that.
One last thing is that for many, especially the freshers, this is the first time when you will go out to the real world. You have right now been working in a college setup, where you are safe. And during an internship, you will actually go out in the market, where you will face the real world, so as to say. Okay. So one piece of advice again, and it helped me also, is that don't hesitate to reach out to people for help within the organization and outside it. And at least I have seen that generally in Asian Paints also, definitely all of them are helpful. If you reach out, definitely will get help. Even the people who are out there, many shops I went not as an Asian Paints employee or trainee, etc. Just entered and said ki I just need to have a few words with you and then share. So people like to be listened to also. So just saying that, maybe many of you will have that comfort zone right now, possibly get out of that and then speak with people, interact with people, and I think that will definitely also add value to it. At least personally, I felt that was a moment when you get humbled. You have been doing theory and projects in a college setup, safe, but right now you're going out there solving something real. That adds a lot of value in terms of experience. So just that's the one last part of advice.
So just quickly stepping in here, because we unfortunately have a little bit of paucity of time. I'll just pose one last question to the both of you. So for me also, it's been 3 years in the organization, but for you, it's been a decade, and for you, it's been almost since 2019, right? And you've stayed in the organization, you've grown in the organization. So what's that one hook? And this is, we are operating in a world where everybody wants to jump jobs, right? We want to go to the next new fancy organization, next new fancy role. So what has it been for both of you in Asian Paints that's kept you hooked, that you've not even looked outside or batted an eye outside? So what has that been, that one autonomy, responsibility project? What has been that tipping point for you?
So I think it has been a combination of all of these. I think I remember when I joined Asian Paints, again, from a supply chain background, and you want to do supply chain stuff. You want to do inventory planning. Nobody wants to go to a factory, but that is where I was put the first time when I landed. And I think, but even in all of that, once you are there, the kind of environment which you see, and the kind of roles which you're given. My simple role for the first 1 month was to talk to people who are working on the shop floor. Our operators who really make the Asian Paints machinery run. The whole job was just to talk to them and see what they're doing on a daily basis and plot their day, that how do they spend their 8.5 hours. And to be very honest, any project, anything else you do on your own is not going to give you the kind of insights which I got from that interaction with people who were really working on the shop floor. I spent around 3 years in that plant in different roles, but that 1 month of just understanding how things are working, how things are happening, really sets you up well for what you are doing. And that is across the board, that you will have ample opportunities to really understand the ethos of the organization, and immediately you will be put into the roles where you will be taking actions which decides how that plant or organization performs. I was given a project 1 month down the line, which was to save cost in terms of how much we are spending on electricity. So it has nothing to do with what an operator was doing. It was about to do with how machines are running and different sources and different things which are going on in the plant. But this is a recurring theme which has happened throughout my career, that I have been put in projects where I did not have any prior experience. But I was given that opportunity because it was felt that I maybe can quickly learn things and I maybe can contribute to things. Even in one of the last stints, I handled purchase without having any negotiation experience whatsoever. And I had a team of people who would be doing their negotiations, reporting into me, and looking at me for support wherever they're needed. But without that experience, I mean, if I think about it, I may not put myself in that job. But I was put. Because the focus is on identifying individuals who can take up new opportunities, who can take up new responsibilities, new challenges, and deliver on them. And I think that is what keeps you, linked to the organization at a personal level. You find yourself constantly challenged, and the whole infra around that as well, that you're challenged, but then the whole support system really comes in support of you to deliver whatever you're looking at. So this has been one of the key highlights for me, at least in my career, that the roles have been widely challenging, not needing any prior experience. That has never been the criteria. You are put in positions and then you are expected to deliver with all the support you can get being provided. So that's one of the key highlights for me, having been spent 10 years in the career.
For me, people ask here, you are from IIT Delhi and then IIM Bangalore. Go start a startup. Go to McKinsey. Why are you still here? That's a question which comes in. So see, I'll tell you at least my thought here. So in Asian Paints, at least, obviously I entered with that mindset that I want to do marketing. Again, I think many in Gagan mentioned that, again with that same mindset ki ad banana hai, the glamour of it, the marketing part. Started with that, but I think Asian Paints exposed me a lot to real business, okay? And I have been possibly lucky enough to get exposed to multiple newer categories within the company. So the first role which I got was in health and hygiene, which is a category which we entered during COVID, when it was all about sanitizers and hand cleansers, etc., all these categories. So that exposed me to a lot of when you are actually opening a company within a company. And I was part of the core team, so the amount of accountability and the amount of freedom which you get, I think these two things were there in the first role. And then I handled a larger category. There also you get a lot of autonomy. So I will say the kind of exposure or the kind of newer things which I could see during my last 7 years, that has kept me hooked to one extent. And now I'm looking after a category in adhesives, where we are less than 2% market share, and we are trying to compete against Fevicol, which is against everyone knows what Fevicol is, right? So that keeps me hooked, that there are always these newer challenges which comes in, and you are given the right freedom also to operate with the right support system. So these things have always kept me hooked to Asian Paints. And lastly, I think Gagan mentioned that point of psychological safety. I think I didn't realize that, but frankly, since day one, that has come in, that you can share your thoughts openly without being judged. You can try out things, fail without being judged. In fact, the company appreciates you trying out things. If you don't try out things, then possibly it's a negative thing within the company. So that kind of again kept me hooked overall. and it has been good. People are good. In the end, you want to be in a company where you are valued and you are surrounded with people who are good. And in the end, money is also important. So patient pain pays well. So that's about it.
Actually, that's what I was going to add, that what you need to stay in a role. You need a good boss, you need a good role, and you need good money. I think if all these three are getting met, then there is no point in looking outside.
The roti kapda makan of corporate.
All right. Thank you so much, Pradip. Thanks a lot. So, thank you, everyone, and thanks to both.
Thank you. All the best, guys.